NTO, NTDO 212, com check.
DPS, go. Inco, go. PUS, go. Surgeon, go. Booster, go. Copy that. We have a go from you guys.
This is Talking Sound.
I can't be what you want me to be. Every little thing that you can't believe. Get up now. Get up now. Say some things that you can't deceive, like the cemetery baby out in the street. Well, get up now. Get up now. And tell me all about it. Who got the best of your loving? 'Cause I don't know where it's gone. Who's got your nights and your morning? Thought I was the only one. Live cheap in the big city. Started with the kiss and you're on your knees. So get up now. Get up now. 'Cause there's some things that you can't deceive, like all the pretty lies that you said to me. Get up now. Get up now. And tell me all about it. Who got the best of your loving? 'Cause I don't know where it's gone. Who's got your nights and your morning? Thought I was the only one. Who's got the best of your loving?
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Talking Sound podcast, coming at you live from the throbbing heart of South by Southwest Gear Expo 2015. I am Chris Jordan, your host. Today on the podcast, we actually have a really good and longtime friend, Mr. Stephen James from Corpus Christi, Texas. How have you been doing, Stephen?
Oh, great, man. This is awesome. It's so good to be here. I love it.
It is fantastic, isn't it? And I mean, I remember years ago, just a little back history for you guys. I've actually known Stephen since he was about 15 years old, something like that. Yeah. Just a little while. And to see the fact that you are actually now to the point that you come to South by, not to enjoy it, but as a performer, is incredible for me. What's that like?
Oh, man, it's just trying to meet as many people as you can, and I love it's bands from all over the country, so you're just learning and networking, and there's great products here, like at the Gear Expo, you try out new guitars. It's just like Disney World for rock musicians, you know? It's just insane.
Absolutely, and that's what I love about it. Like you know as well as I do, I've been doing live sound for years, and it's odd. I moved to Austin, Texas, home of rock and roll, and I do 90% corporate AV now. Like I don't even step foot into rock and roll stuff, but I do pedal modifications, and was asked to come be a part of this. And this is it blew my mind to find out that it was actually only the third year of the Gear Expo at South by. South by's been happening for 20 years, and how was this not an integral part of it for so many years, you know?
Yeah, I love all these guitars and beats and keyboards. There's all these things I've never even seen before.
I know. We actually had Adrian Ballou over here performing a while ago. It was insane. Just like I ran into, who was it, little Steven Van Zandt on the street yesterday, just walking down. So it's like the people that you run into are just insane. What are some of the sightings you've had this year?
Oh, man, we were at the Hard Rock House on Rainy yesterday. There's a lot going down on Rainy. So we saw the Cribs, which is one of my favorite bands from the UK. Yeah. Today we're going to go see the Vaccines from the UK. They're amazing. Big Data is playing over at Waterloo. It's an awesome dance band. So it's like everywhere we go, it's just my favorite band. It's insane. Like everybody's here. I can't believe it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's amazing. It has really become a mecca. Like I guess you were a teenager right up around the time that South by was really getting its feet going. Close to, you know, we aren't going to give ages away, but we're both right up around the time where South by started. And to see it grow to the point that it is now, we're like, McDonald's is a sponsor of South by. Like who would have ever dreamed that it would get to a point of that from like a street festival where literally if you had an outdoor outlet, you had a band on the sidewalk.
Exactly. Yeah, it's grown so much. And like you're saying, literally anywhere you go, every restaurant, every space, every bar has bands all day, 20 bands a day. So you just pop your head in, you don't know what you're going to find. That's the magic of it, you know?
Well, and like I said, it's amazing to tune in on the radio at like 7 a.m. and hear the classical station with the live stage. Like, oh, we're about to have some violinists play, and you hear the crowd is full. It's 7 a.m., and it will be full until 7 p.m. midnight tonight. Now, you're here, actually. You came into town to perform. Which venue were you at this week?
We were at Wednesday night. We were at the Red Shed Tavern, which is on South Congress, and I'd never been. Yeah, it was actually a really cool venue. Thanks for having us. We were there for Texas Indie Fest, and it's just that typical South by story. We walked in, there's like 5 people there. We're like, oh no. And then we start playing, and there's like 75 people there. I mean, these shows just fill up. It's crazy.
Yeah, and they literally just almost spring up. Like last year, one of the shows that I do, one of the only rock shows that I do at South by is actually with the estate of Miles Davis, typically. And they're literally a show that, like, last year, I guess they made such a splash, South by retweeted their event. And they weren't even a South by event. They were like, this is so cool what's going on. People got to go check this out. And it's absolutely amazing, the collaboration, the things like that happen here. How many different bands did you play with the other night?
There's bands from all over. It was like 10 probably that night. The band right after us was from London. The band right before us was my good friend Shavar from Toledo, Ohio, Shavar Dante. I mean, it's just bands from all over, and then we're from Corpus Christi, Texas. So that's the joy of it, is you just meet all these new people, you're networking. We're already talking about doing some tours with them. I mean, it's just crazy, you know? It brings all these people together who otherwise probably would never meet. You know?
Well, exactly. And I mean, speaking of coming together, like I said, it's been years since we've seen each other. I guess the last time I saw you was actually at a gig in Houston while you and your wife were engaged. And I came by and met y'all and hung out. And it's been that long. And just watching the progression over the last couple years, even with your new stuff, is absolutely amazing. Now, you're here not only as part of Stephen James and the Shakedown, but also as Stephen James as well. And
just a solo artist. He's holding my first 2 songs came out a couple months ago, and I just finished the full album, which drops April 11th. So I'm really excited to get that out. I get it printed here in Austin, the same place I've been doing for a decade. You know, I try to keep my money in Texas and keep it in Austin, and so, yeah, we're excited.
Well, yeah, and I mean, once you find producers and people that I'm not going to say can hold your hand through the process, but can hold you up through the process, because man, it's a process, and people get into it and they really don't realize, like, yeah, you know, I want to make some music. Okay, well, unless you're doing all that yourself, there's really going to have to be some release on your part as far as an artist goes, and that's actually been a hot topic on the show lately. What has been your experience in the studio as far as that goes?
Yeah, well, I've been recording with Lars Goranson. Shout out to Lars at Sounds Outrageous Studios here, kind of in Westlake in the hills, and he and I are just total like Rolling Stones gear junkies. He has the microphone that they use on Exile on Main Street. He has like all the original like Rickenbacker like 12-string guitars that Keith used. And so I mean, we were really, to recreate those sounds, we actually just used the same stuff. You know, there was no like magic. It was like, no, this is the actual guitar, you know? So yeah, it's got this real classic sound that you can't really fake. And yeah, me and him, we just sit around and talk about the Stones, the Beatles, you know, all that classic stuff.
Well, and that's really a big part of it, is number one, finding an engineer that understands you as well as your vision. But not just that as far as you as an artist, being able to communicate your vision as well. And how does that break down for you whenever you're in the studio, whenever you're working with someone? Because I know you're not always necessarily using the same mastering people, even the same graphic designers as far as album art goes. So how do you go about translating your vision to people?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I personally, a lot of people, they'll start a song or something, they'll just be like, hey, I got this riff, let's kind of see what it goes. I do everything like a demo. So when I'm like, hey, let's do this song, I have a pretty finished version of what I think the song should sound like. And obviously, you know, there's some surprising things that always happen in the studio, things you don't expect that kind of make things new and interesting for you. But I present almost complete ideas to people so that from the gate, they kind of know what I have in mind, and then we just take it from there. You know, there's not a lot of time lost, like trying to figure it out or trying to communicate. I just like kind of handing it over and saying, let's do this. You know?
Yeah, well, let's kind of recreate this beast that's already been created. And at that point, it is a whole lot easier. And if I'm not mistaken, you were actually there the weekend that I bought my first analog 4-track. We were actually on a conference together that weekend in Houston, and I'd brought it to the hotel room, and that I kind of approach things in the same way, forever and always. I've never considered like writing a song on paper complete until I have it on tape. Like until I have that like recorded. Like, it's great to have the chords over words, it's great to have that concept, but until I can go back and go, oh, that's how I made that chord. That's how I did it. How important is that to you and your process?
Yeah, I mean, I do it everything from making a record to just giving it to my band for them to learn, you know. I just give them a complete idea, and they can have it, they can listen to it, they can take it home, they can learn it, you know. I'm kind of that way. It's very private almost, you know. I kind of make sure that I'm happy with it before I kind of show it to other people.
Well, absolutely. And not only that, it really kind of speeds up the development as far as things go and how fast your musical partners can catch up with you. Because, I mean, you're a machine, dude. You're not just like a music machine. You're a self-promotion machine. I see your stuff all over Facebook, all over. I mean, look, he's even matching his shirt with his album cover, people. You think I'm shameless with a hat. Look at that. But it's literally the fact of, you know, you have to be. If you don't have the swagger and you can't sell, if you can't look in the mirror and sell yourself to yourself, who are you going to be able to sell it to, right?
Every person, every conversation, you know, every sale, it's important. It's important these days more than ever. You got to keep up with people, follow up with them. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, you know, people expect that now. And I expect that from bands I love. You know, it's more of a conversation now. The wall's kind of been broken down, which I love because, you know, I'm a social being. So I'm meeting people here. They're tweeting me, you know, and they just came here from like Detroit. Some lady flew down from Detroit to see me play that I've never met, but she saw me on Instagram, and that's just kind of the modern world. But I love it. I love it.
It's great, isn't it? And it really kind of, I think, returns a lot of the power to the individual artists and musicians. Now, we were talking a while ago about the podcast, its availability, things like that, and I was telling you that I wasn't on iTunes. Where can everybody go find your music?
Oh, yeah. Well, we're on iTunes. Stephen James, and the band now is Stephen James and the Jaded. That's what we're going to be doing. That's going to be on iTunes, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and then, of course, we're on Facebook. My Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, it's all the same thing, Stephen James TX, because there's a couple other Stephen James. I'm the one from Texas. Got to represent Texas, baby. So find me, Stephen James TX, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and we play all over Texas, and we're getting out to LA and Nashville every couple times every year. So we're around. So you got to come see us. Let's have a beer.
That's it, man. Absolutely. Now, while you're here at South by, what are some of the other things you're looking for? What are some of the things that you're into here at the event itself?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously the Gear Expo is amazing. Seeing some awesome pedals from this guy. But, you know, I want to see cool bands, and I want to see bands that are touring and maybe hook up with them, maybe open up for them. I'm meeting a lot of promoters, like local Austin guys who are putting on these shows. And I'm saying, hey, great show. Let's hook up after South by. Anybody I can meet that's really talented, video, graphic design, anything. So just kind of keeping my eyes and ears open and just taking it all in. And you got to have your business cards on you. You got to be ready because every conversation counts, you know.
That's just it. It's all about the handshake and the smile, and yeah, never leave the house without 10 cards. Never. Oh, I've got a whole stack of them over there and here. Exactly. Like you literally reached in and just pulled that out whenever we met. And you kind of do have to be ready in that aspect because, like I said, you turn the corner, there's Adrian Ballou, like one of the biggest jazz guys you could possibly meet. There he is, literally just playing at a booth for like an hour and doing a signing for people. You know, like you literally never know who you're going to run into. My personal dream this week is that Snoop makes his way down here, and I get to have him say "Mod It Like It's Hot" so I can remix, so I can remix the song and use it on my website. But what have been some of your favorite moments over the years at South by?
South by, well, it's just those random occurrences like you were saying. I mean, I was walking down the street and saw Oswald Patton, just started talking to him, like saw Art Alexakis from Everclear. One time, like, you know, I've been playing here for like 10 years. My band, we had a horrible show, nobody was there. We went to Coyote Ugly across the street, totally empty. We're there drinking. Cake, the band, walks in. So it's us, and we just partied with Cake for like 3 hours. We're the only people in the bar. I mean, things like that happen all the time here at South by. That's what's so crazy about it. You know?
Yeah. Like I said, like the one South by gig that I do is typically with the estate of Miles Davis, and I went out to lunch with his nephew, and like I'm saying, I do a lot of corporate work. I've learned to realize what those security dudes look like, and it's like there are 8 dudes standing around this room with absolutely nothing to do right now. Who's coming in, and lo and behold, like Bruce Springsteen came in and sat down right next to us and started talking. It's like, hey, how you doing, boss? You know, it's like, it's literally like wow, it will blow your mind who you randomly run into.
Yeah, you
So-
never know. You got to be ready.
Do you guys have any other shows going on during South by right now?
Man, we're hustling. We're trying to set up something tomorrow night. This frat house may have us out. We're going to do their party, and then we may play on top of a bus in downtown. I mean,
Nice.
it's just, you just meet people, and they're like, oh, I got this show, I got this show. So look on our social media. We may have more coming up, but definitely when the album drops April 11th, we're going to be all over Texas all summer. We're going to be out in Nashville, LA. So just keep up with us on social media because we're hitting the ground running with this album. So
Absolutely, man. Now, what is your favorite source of social media as far as promotion and stuff like that goes? For up-and-coming musicians, that's really what a lot of this show is about, kind of being able to give people a leg up, you know, give them the knowledge from people like you that have been in the industry for 15 years, plugging their way, are now working musicians. You know, you're actually out, from what I see, at least a good 2-3 nights a week with gigs. So what is, at least in your mind, the best resource as far as getting word out there in a grassroots fashion?
yeah, I love Instagram. I mean, Instagram is really hot right now. I think that's more like connecting with fans, you know. Every band's on there, but Twitter is real. A lot of more of the industry people are on there. So when you're trying to find booking agents, record companies, managers, they're all out there. Facebook, it's kind of going. You know, everybody's parents are on Facebook now. You know, so the mystique is kind of gone. A lot of bands are going to Snapchat now, but that is just so much work. It just snapping each person, you know, rather than like posting something on Instagram.
Yeah, a post blast, absolutely.
There's probably something we don't even know about yet that's coming around. You know, there's always something new. But yeah, we're all over Instagram right now. So
Great, fantastic. Well, where can people go to find you on Instagram?
yeah, at Stephen James TX. So Stephen James with a V and TX because I'm from Texas, baby. And it's the same for Twitter and Facebook, just Stephen James TX. And the band Stephen James and the Jaded, if you want to search for us on Facebook. And we're going to be playing all over.
And what about the website?
StephenJamesTX.com.
All right, fantastic. Well, once again, everybody, Chris Jordan with the Talking Sound Podcast, my very good friend, Stephen James, artist extraordinaire.
Yeah.
You too, buddy. It's been way too long. We really need to get together and hang out. And I'd love to have you as a regular feature on the show. We have Skype guests, all kinds of stuff. So we can do it from the comfort of your home, buddy. Let's make it not so long in between visits, all right? And until next time, everybody, keep reaching for 11. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.